Remember when you were a little child where you'd go home and there was that, you would have those moments where you're like, I'm at home, I'm in my protected space. I have my parents, my dog, my pajamas, mom's in the kitchen cooking. It's that feeling of surrounded by a coating of I'm in the right place at the right time. That's the way I feel when I walk in the studio. You've seen my work a billion times because I'm not the it. I'm the behind the it.
If you have ever opened a fashion magazine, you have seen Oliphant. If you've ever walked down a street and seen an advertisement, you have seen Oliphant. I would argue that Oliphant Studios' art has been seen by more people on the planet than any other artist, ever.
Sometimes I come down, particularly at night, I'll come down and I'll start seeing them all and I'll think, how on earth did they all get painted? I think they have sex at night and reproduce. That's what I think. We're primarily known for painting backdrops for portrait photography. I don't view my backdrops as a work of art. I think of them as a piece of equipment. These are just pieces of canvas, and I try to make them beautiful, and I love them. Some of them look like shit, but whatever. But I love them. I look at them, and I'm filled with happiness.
On that, do you think about legacy at all?
No, that's my legacy. That's my thing. It's like, this was my thing. I'm doing it. Tomorrow, I'm going to do it. 20 years from now, I'm just going to be doing it.
Do you think legacy matters to Violet?
My name is Violet Oliphant-O'Neill, and we are at my mother's studio in Bushwick and my former place of work. She is here Monday through Sunday from 8 in the morning until whenever. She's a workaholic. My mother is a workaholic. My mother is such a force and such a presence, and I definitely feel in her shadow in a lot of ways, because when it comes to work, I feel like I need to be just like her, which is great. I want to be like my mom, but our work is different. Legacy is complicated, and parents who are successful, being their child is complicated.
I was always different, which I did not want to be different. It was painful to be different. I didn't ask for that to happen. I just didn't fit the mold. And I had these grandmothers that both their husbands died young. For that era, I had these very successful, well-to-do women as role models. It didn't occur to me then that I had to get married and have children and stay in this little town. My mother identified me as an artist. She said, Sarah is an artist. Sarah doesn't do well in math because she's an artist. Sarah can't keep her room clean because she's an artist, you know. That saved my ass, let me tell you. Because so instead of being just a weird misfit who was lazy and didn't know how to save money, it was always that I was an artist. When I was 17, my mother had just turned 41 and she died of cancer of the cervix, which you can't even die from anymore. It was just so abrupt. Also, our dad didn't know negative emotions. And so we just had to somehow, don't be sad, don't be sad. It was pretty sad. So anyway, that's what happened. It happens to people all the time. So don't think we were special, but it was black and white.
Similar to my mom, I was a awkward, weird child. I'd never been really good at anything. But I fell in love with painting backdrops around 2013. And yeah, I fell into it in a weird way. And then I realized that I was actually good at it. But it gave me a sense of pride to know that, my mom is Sarah Oliphant. She's really good at what she does, and everyone wants an Oliphant backdrop, and I'm actually kind of good at it too.
Violet came in as a painting assistant, and she'd never really thought of being a painting assistant before.
The early days of working for my mom, I was a brat.
I was saying, do this, do that, get off your phone, do this, put this down, do that, get off your phone.
I spent a lot of time on my phone getting yelled at.
It wasn't productive anymore, but she wasn't taking the reins.
When I was younger, she wanted to always fix things for me and do everything for me and make sure Violet's okay and suffer.
I like when she suffers. It makes me really happy.
She loves talking about suffering. I think if she allowed me to suffer a little bit more and be forced to pick myself up, I think she would have been really surprised by it.
I'm the one redoing the drop at 2 a.m, Violet's gone. She was gone. 6 o'clock, she was gone. If it's under me, I will always rescue her. She had to figure it out. I want to be able to get texture. No, we're not rolling it. We're not.
No. I'm just watching. I think it started to shift around 2017. I was sick of being my mom's, assistant. I kept wanting to take Oliphant and move it to different places. I wanted to take it to the UK, and then I was like, I'm gonna take it to California, and then I'm gonna move to Berlin. And then I decided to move to Berlin and open European Oliphant. And every time I just kept trying to one, run away from stuff that I needed to deal with in my personal life, but also I was starting to fall out of love with the work that I was doing, but still feeling this immense guilt about feeling unsure about what I wanted to do, because if I can't paint backdrops, then what the fuck am I gonna do,
Okay, so Violet, take this and just lightly, just all over, very lightly.
My mother taught me everything that she knew, because for a long time I thought that painting backdrops and taking over the Oliphant studio would be what I wanted to do with my life. So everything that she gave to me was stuff that would benefit the studio.
Wet it, and then we'll pull it back, and you have to pull it out. You don't have to go
I know
crazy pulling it out.
Mom, I know how to pull out a backdrop. We were working towards this future of Oliphant being mine as well, but it was still her assistant, and then I do value her dedication to her work, but it's something that I've recognized and something that I don't want. As I worked here longer, I did have more of a vested interest in this, and I did feel like I needed to take on more from my mother, especially as she's getting older, and that's something that I also struggle with now, where she's 71 and, is doing great, but eventually she's going to start deteriorating in some way. And I do have a lot of guilt about not being by her side to take on some of the pressure. Yeah, it was fun with the rock job. I got to experiment with using the Modern Masters rust.
Yeah, I like that
Rust
stuff where you activate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It was so cool.
Yeah, there are all kinds of scenic art techniques that you could. I sent you one about painting grass. Did you see that one?
No?
Wait, I think I sent it to you. You got to start reading the text that I send you.
What does that mean?
It was a great way to.
I read your text. You also bombard my Instagram with videos of children now.
Well, whatever. And I discovered you can send.
I know, it was the worst day of my life when I found out that you discovered how to send messages on Instagram.
I love the fact that Oliphant and daughters, you know, they've been Oliphant and sons for millions of years, you know, and I love the fact that it's family and there's, you know, I'm passing this thing on, but it has to be her thing. I need Violet to be tougher. I need her to be able to suffer and be tougher and know that tomorrow's a totally different day. Whatever was happening yesterday, it's over. And she is going to be fine. She just has to stay busy.
I know that me leaving Oliphant was hard for her, even though she probably won't admit it. I hope that she finds people who work with her who are as invested in the future of Oliphant, because at this moment, I don't want to help paint backdrops. I want to be Violet.
Well, there was a meadow in front of my Aunt Sarah, who I was super close to. There's a meadow in front of her house. So I would go every spring down to that meadow, and those first violets that grew, those little purple violets, I was filled with the promise of spring and then summer, and it would just fill me with so much promise. So when Violet was born, knew she was going to be born in the spring, I thought, I'm going to name her Violet. It's a very hardy flower. You see them everywhere. It's a flower that I find incredible. One, I think they're super beautiful. Simple and beautiful. So I named her Violet for that reason. I just need her to be hardy.